Groaners, welcome along to this episode 68 of the Groan Zone, which is now our Valentine's Day special, which is just around the corner. So you know what that means. Get those presents sorted, men and women out there, get them sorted. Now, your games this week are the 5-Pound Countdown and Double Down Dummies. We're gonna go straight on with the show now, no messing about, kicking off for a change with the 5-Point Countdown. You know how it works. 5 clues, 5 points, 4 points, 3, 2, then 1, all up for grabs. Who's gonna get them? You never know. You change your answer when you're right, and it's wrong, you get no points. If you then change to the right answer again on the next clue, you get the next level of points. Here we go. Clue number 5. With 5 points, I can sweeten up your partner. Clue number 5 again. I can sweeten up your partner. We have roses and chocolates. Both go together, strangely enough. Okay, good guesses, Groaners. Moving on. Clue number 4. For 4 points, I come in many shapes. A clue again, one more time. Clue number 4. For 4 points, I come in many shapes. Okay, a groaner out there has wrote chocolate rocks. I'm going to disregard chocolate rocks. We're not going to go into that, especially on the Valentine's Day special, Groaner. And yes, Groaner, you know exactly who you are. Admin Nicole. Okay, someone else has wrote chocolates. Righto, okay. Moving on. Clue number 3. For 3 points, I can be hollow, soft, or hard-centered. Do one more time. Clue number 3. For 3 points, I can be hollow, or soft, or hard-centered. What you got, Groaners? You typing anything else in? Has anyone got any more guesses, advances on roses and chocolates? And chocolate rocks? Nope, no more? Okay. Clue number 2. For 2 points, I have many varieties. That clue one more time. Clue number 2. For 2 points, I have many varieties. I see the Groaners, they're on playing along live. They're sticking with their answers. Have you stuck with your answer, Groaner, listening along here? Have you? You don't know if you got it right yet. I'll be revealing that later. And now finally, clue number 1. For 1 point. You can also have me on puddings, not just on my own. Nope. No more guesses, Groaners? Okay. That's fine. Okay. We'll see if we can give Cupid a shake by his wings later to see if anyone got points in the 5-Point Countdown. Moving on now, we go straight in to my Valentine's Day groans. People who cheat. Now, okay, so it's Valentine's Day and you drop a bomb on your partner that you are cheating or want a divorce or something along those lines. Why wait until a special day such as Valentine's Day? You're clearly a git, so you should just come clean and tell them long before Valentine's Day. Why do people do this? I don't understand. Why leave it to Valentine's Day to tell them that you're an idiot? Last minute Valentine's Day gifts. So you've forgotten the gift. Why not just be honest? I'm sure your other half would appreciate that rather than something crappy you got them in a petrol station or some tiny bit of tat like a keyring that just says, I love you on it. Just come clean and say you forgot. Simple as that. You might get a good howking, a good telling off, but at least you'll be honest. And lastly, over-the-top PDA, especially on Valentine's Day. Okay, some people out there may not know what PDA is. That is public displays of affection, which is fine. Of course, people can kiss in public and everything else, but I'm talking about going over the top with it. People, I don't want you to see you grinding away on each other in shop entrances and all that kind of thing. Save that for your private times. Yeah? And that, Groaners, is my Valentine's Day groans shot away like some wayward arrow from Cupid's bow. More will be coming next week. Let's dive down deep now into some unluckiness with Oh Unlucky! This week's Oh Unlucky is about a man who took his partner to Rome, and they were dancing in the fashionable Via del Condotti. Hope I got that right. They stopped dancing only for him to drop to one knee, and then he produced a ring. Her response was awful, and that every man dreads when proposing to his partner. This is why we came to Rome? No! Unlucky, mate. Perhaps you caught her off guard or something, or perhaps she just wasn't ready. Better look in the future, and from the image, he looked absolutely gutted. And now we move on from broken hearts to more creepiness from Admin Nicole with Creepy Corner. This week's corner... I'm leaving that in. This week's story is called Never in Love, but Always in Death. Maria and Ernesto are what would be described as star-crossed lovers. Destined to be, but never meant to be. They had been together since they were kids. They grew up together. They were rarely ever separated. They fell in love long before long at the town's annual line dancing competition. Everything for them was perfect. Now at the ages of 25 and 27, they even thought about getting married, but life, of course, isn't perfect. Life is messy, and sometimes the happier you get, the less likely you are to see anyone that might disturb that. Carla Romano was always in love with Ernesto. She was his first friend. She had the chance to be everything to him, but once Maria moved in, Carla was slowly forgotten by this plague known as love at first sight. She wasted no time in learning all she could about curses and dark magic and slowly enacted her plan. She became Maria's best friend, and the three were happy together. Ernesto barely remembered Carla and thought she was new to town, but Carla was fine with it for now. She was supposed to be the maid of honor at the wedding. It was small and rustic. Maria always wanted to get married in a barn surrounded by bales of hay. As they spoke their vows, the clear sky quickly filled with clouds, and a storm quickly raged. Everyone rushed inside as quick as they could, but Maria got trapped when a tree fell and broke her leg. Ernesto wanted to rush over to her, but Carla stopped him. She put on her best acting skills and started to cry. Everyone in town knew Carla was good with healing wounds, and even believed she could do anything if she wanted to. No one knew about her dark magic, however, and while she wept, she pulled out a black candle that had some strange things covering the sides of it. She also pulled out a lighter. She told Ernesto that it was her wedding gift to Maria. If Maria and Ernesto held hands when the candle was lit, it would bring them great luck for the rest of their lives. Ernesto believed she only wanted to help and took the candle and lighter before rushing to Maria. As he was trying to move the tree, he didn't realize the wind's picking up, and Maria kept telling him to leave her. He was too focused on moving the tree, and a pipe came out of nowhere and knocked him to the ground. He knew the two of them weren't going to make it, so he took Maria's hand and she held the candle as he lit it. The flame turned black, and in an instant the two lovers were gone. Carla knew Ernesto would never love her, so she cursed the two lovers to an eternity of never being with each other. They were constantly reborn over and over and over again, meeting each other, then one dying before the other, dying before they could ever fall in love. As soon as they met, one of them was doomed to die. This ended the cycle forever. 28 lifetimes so far. They took on so many new forms, yet they were always drawn to each other. On the 29th year, when Maria was born, as Lisa, she knew something was wrong. The parents were swamp healers, and one day Lisa asked about a way to undo the curse that afflicted her. The only way was for two lovers to die together. To end a curse of star-crossed lovers, they must accept their fates together. Lisa spent many years trying to find her love, but it wasn't until her 29th birthday that he was there. Ronald, or as she once knew him, Ernesto, it was as if more lifetimes they lived through, the more they remembered every time. Ronald also knew something was wrong. The two barely knew each other, and yet it was as if they had been together for an eternity. Lisa remembering her strange love of barns, and Ronald remembering his fear of trees. She told him what her parents told her. Now that they had met, one of them was due to die soon, leaving the other to live a long and miserable life all alone. Not this time though. Lisa and Ronald remembered enough. They sat on the edge of the cliff watching the sun set on their last lives together. They stood up holding hands, tears streaming down their faces as the clouds began to form overhead. A storm coming just like the first death they had, but this was going to be the end. As they prepared to jump into the rocky ocean below, a familiar black candle appeared in front of them, and without hesitation, Lisa blew out the flame and then they jumped. They weren't allowed to be together in life, but at least in death they would now be free. However, it wasn't the end for them. To give the star-crossed lovers a chance, they were granted status as Reapers, to live forever but to never be separated again, helping to guide souls into their next lives as no one was able to do for them. Well, Nicole, I've got to say, you put just the right amount of creepy into that story, just in time for Valentine's Day. Nicely done. More from Creepy Corner next week. From Creepy Now, we move on and over to the Darwin side of the show. Yep, it's time for Double Down Dummies, Groaners. Here we go. Round number 1. George Spencer Millett, who died on the 15th of February 1909. He was an American teenager who worked as an office boy at an insurance company at the Metropolitan Life Building in New York City, and he was fleeing 6 young women stenographers at his workplace who were intent on giving him kisses for his 15th birthday. But how did something so innocent lead to George's death? Was it option A? Whilst running, a door opened and he went face first through the glass and pierced an artery in his neck? Was it option B? He ran through an open door and tripped, falling down the stairs. However, sadly, he never regained consciousness. Or was it option C? He had a pen eraser in his pocket, and as the women approached him, he fell and the pen eraser pierced his heart. Go, Groaners, give me your answers. Someone already flew straight in with C. Has anybody else got any more guesses? More C's. More C's and more. Okay, alright, okay, Groaners, I get you. You've gone for option C. But if you were playing along after recording, pause after option C, have a think, and then chuck in your answer, and then unpause. Round number 2. Dead on Valentine's Day. This death occurred on Valentine's Day in 2018. A 19-year-old and his soon-to-be ex were taking a stroll along the Havel River when suddenly an argument broke out. Unable to get his point across, the man pushed the woman into the freezing cold waters. This wasn't enough for him though, so he jumped in after her and proceeded to keep on pushing her head under the water again and again and again. Now how did this end up with his death? Was it option A? He couldn't swim and was pulled under the cold waters and drowned and his body wasn't found? Was it option B? In her struggles for life, she knocked him out and he was found face down along the river. He had, of course, drowned. Or was it option C? He was pulled out of the waters after losing consciousness and then fell into a coma after difficulties in the water and never regained consciousness in hospital. Go, Groaners, what you got? Give me your answers. Here's where you pause. If you're listening after the recording, answer unpause. Okay, we have B's and C's coming in. We have a split, Groaners. Yes, we do. B's and C's across the board. Okay. Hopefully, some Groaners out there scored points. You'll find out later in the show after 0 of the week. Speaking of Groaners, one of you gets your groan read out right now. Yes, it's audience groan time. This one comes in via email from David C. of Lowestoft, and he has simply wrote, backstabbers. Gotta be the most unvalentineziest, yes, that's a word I just invented, groan ever. I suppose they could mean being fouled in a relationship. Only David himself knows. Cheers for the groan, David. If you let it groan in like David did, you can do so using the following. You can hit us up at Groan Zone headquarters via email at thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can drop us a message on the Groan Zone Podcast Facebook group. You can join in or message us on the Groan Zone Discord channel. And lastly, you can drop myself or Admin Nicole a Facebook message on our Facebook IDs. Don't forget as well though, you can send us your Hero or Zero of the Week nominations, your unlucky stories as well as your feedback and your groans. Now, let us press on to the Zero of the Week. There are 2 this week. This one is dreadful and sorry to cause anybody distress. So a wedding DJ, who I am not going to name, thought it would be funny to urinate on a cancer patient. The patient told the DJ whilst they were standing at the urinals that he was suffering from prostate cancer. And this happened whilst they were in the toilet of a tennis club of all places. This idiot, as of late January, had no lawyers accepting to represent him, and rightly so. The victim told him he had cancer, and then the idiot pulls out his wang and lets fly with wee all over the guy's back. I'm sorry, you just don't do that. He then posted it to his friends. Dude, that isn't something to be proud of. He then posted an apology when everything kicked off on Facebook and then deleted his account. That's stupid for 2 reasons. No one's going to see the apology after deleting the account, and 2, what's an apology going to do? You've already done the act. A very stupid and disgusting act. It doesn't make everything hunky-dory, does it? He has, in a little update though, he's been jailed for 14 weeks. 14 weeks? After pleading guilty to common assault. He was also ordered to pay the victim £500 compensation, not good enough, £85 in costs, again not good enough, and a £154 surcharge, again not good enough. Personally, I think he should have been given a harsher sentencing, and especially for indecency and for such a stupid act. What a moron. Zero of the week material indeed. How he had a partner, or has a partner, is beyond me. Now our second groan. Oh, we've had their mystery groaner. Backpedal a little bit. Our second groan. I've done it again. One more time. Sorry, groaners. Our second zero is a wife who cheated on her husband. Why is she a zero? She cheated on him 60 years ago. That is 60 years into a 77-year-long marriage. Bless the husband though, who is 99. He is divorcing her basically because she betrayed him and was even getting letters from her secret lover. This happened in Italy, by the way. I wish Antonio, that's the 99-year-old guy, well, but the wife or ex-wife, you are a zero for damn sure. You should be ashamed of yourself. And now, next up, we have the game answers. The 5-point countdown first. Yes, a few playing along live. Got the answer straight away. Chocolates. Well played, groaners. Have a little look where you got the points, and that's the amount of points you get when you got your answer right. Going back to last week, what the hell am I for? The answer was a Sony Rolly. And this was a dancing light-up MP3 player which tanked in sales. It did atrociously. And lastly, Double Down Dummies. We'll have a little story recap and then give the answers. Round 1. George Spencer Millett. This occurred on the 15th of February 1909. The American teenager who worked as an office boy at an insurance company at the Metropolitan Life Building in New York City was fleeing 6 young women stenographers at his workplace who were intent on giving him kisses for his 15th birthday. Now how did that land up in his death? We're about to find out. It was option C. He had a pen eraser in his pocket, and as the women approached him, he fell, and the pen eraser pierced his heart. Round 2. Round 2. Dead on Valentine's Day. This death occurred on Valentine's Day in 2018. A 19-year-old and a soon-to-be ex were taking a stroll along the Havel River when suddenly an argument broke out. Unable to get his point across, the man pushed the woman into the freezing waters, This wasn't good enough for him, so he jumped in after her and kept pushing her into the water again and again and again. Now, how did this end up with his death? It was option C. He was pulled out of the waters after losing consciousness and fell into a coma after difficulties in the water and never regained consciousness in hospital. Of course, the woman survived, thankfully, so that has a little bit of a happy ending there. And now, just before we end the show properly this time, we have Anagram Anxiety. You all know this one. This is Admin Nicole's baby, this is. We give you the anagram, and then you have to put on Facebook or on Discord, episode comments or wherever you can, even send in via email your guesses. This week's anagram is Carma, that's Carma with a C, Shrinkers. Good luck, Groaners, because I can never get these. Admin Nicole will put up a clue in midweek around about Wednesday time. Me, on my game, what the hell am I for? I always forget. Enjoy Valentine's Day next week, Groaners. Remember, the woman can propose as it's a leap year this year. Wow, how old-fashioned is that? Take care, see you next week. Bye-bye.
I love you.